I want to apologize to the emergency medical team, the station commander, and the 17 delegates who witnessed what they are calling the scariest moment of the Kepler 9 Trade Summit. I fell asleep. Apparently that's a big deal out here. In my defense, the meeting had been going for 9 hours. 9 hours of trade negotiations between 6 species about shipping lane tariffs. I'm the human trade liaison. I've been awake since 400 because of station time zone differences. By hour 8 my eyes are heavy. By hour 9 I'm gone. I don't even feel it happen. 1 second I'm listening to a Velshi delegate talk about cargo manifests. The next I'm somewhere dark and warm and quiet. I wake up on the floor surrounded by people. There are medical officers, there are security officers. The station commander is there. A Drothian delegate is weeping. I'm on the floor because they pulled me out of my chair to perform emergency resuscitation. I say, what happened? The station commander says, you died. I say, I fell asleep. The room goes very quiet. Nobody in this room has ever seen a human sleep. Most species rest differently: meditation, low-power states, partial shutdowns. No species simply switches off. The medical officer scans me. Your brain activity dropped to minimal function. Muscles went slack. You lost all environmental awareness. I say, yes, that's sleep. She says, for how long? I say, maybe 20 minutes. She says, and this is normal. I say, I do it every night, about 8 hours. She puts down the scanner. You lose consciousness for 8 hours. Every night. I say, sometimes more on weekends. She leaves the room. I hear her in the corridor. She sounds upset. Within 2 days, every scientist on the station wants to study me sleeping. Dr. Vren from Xenobiology sets up monitoring equipment in my quarters. I go to bed like normal. She watches from a monitoring station. In the morning, she presents her findings looking like she hasn't slept, which she can't because her species doesn't. During human sleep, the brain enters a state indistinguishable from a controlled shutdown. Motor function ceases. Sensory input is blocked. The organism is completely vulnerable for hours. She pauses. And the human dreams. The brain generates false sensory experiences, hallucinations. The human experiences events that are not real and cannot distinguish them from reality until waking. A colleague asks, so they go unconscious and hallucinate. She says, every single night, for 300,000 years. The real shock comes when they learn humans build entire rooms dedicated to being unconscious. Special furniture designed for lying helpless. Industries worth billions dedicated to improving the quality of the shutdown state. The Kethosi ambassador asks me, are you not afraid? I say, of what? He says, of not waking up. I've never thought about that. Every night I close my eyes and trust that my body will start again in the morning. Every night I make myself completely helpless and vulnerable. And it never once occurred to me to be afraid. I say no, I actually look forward to it. He doesn't have a response. Something changes on the station after the sleep report goes public. Aliens start treating the human quarters differently, quietly. The Velshi maintenance crews reroute loud work away from the human deck at night. A Drothian security officer starts doing extra patrols past the human rooms during what they now call the vulnerability window. When I ask why, she says, you cannot protect yourselves during this time. Someone should. I've been sleeping alone in rooms my whole life and never thought of it as brave. But to them, watching a human close their eyes and surrender consciousness, trusting completely that the world will still be there in the morning, it's the most courageous thing they've ever seen. The Drothian says your species makes itself blind and deaf and lies still for 8 hours in a universe that wants to kill you, and you call it resting. I say we also have a thing called naps. The trade summit resumes. I stay awake this time. Coffee helps. At the end, the Velshi delegate who sat next to me when I fell asleep approaches. He says, I have been thinking about your sleep. I say sorry again about the meeting. He says, don't apologize. When you closed your eyes, I thought you had died, but then I learned about sleep and I realized something. He pauses. Every night your species practices dying, and every morning you practice coming back. No other species does this. He looks at me with something I think is respect. You are not afraid of the dark. You are not afraid of helplessness. Your species surrenders to oblivion every single night and wakes up asking for coffee. He shakes my hand. I go back to my quarters. I set my alarm. I close my eyes. I practice dying. I sleep better than I have in weeks.